Hello everybody, my name is King Quad. Hope you're having an amazing day. Of course, 7 reps in, I just realized I have never made a tip guide on how to play Ocelotl. We're going to be focusing on that today. If you guys are new, consider subscribing as I do post content like this daily. Without further ado, let's jump straight on into it. Going against Tiandi in our first match, he throws a random hit, which I do punish with 2 lights. Now, the next thing that I'm really anticipating is his side dash attack, right? Since we have lights, we're going to poke every single time he tries to dash in hopes to interrupt. Now he goes for this kick. He does get a lot of damage off in this scenario, but I go for zones because I know that this dude likes to dash. He gets a parry off, punishes twice with a light. I block one of them. He does some more dashing. And this is my first game on, so I'm not going to lie, I did miss a punish. I could have parried that second round. Going into the second round, I keep in mind that most Tiandis actually love to spam that dash attack, so I try to go in for a heavy and then punish with a light follow-up. I anticipate that he's going to cancel, so I keep my guard up. Go for a zone, go for a top heavy, go for a bash, and I whiff the light. He goes for a guard break right here, which I do cancel out, so he decides to punt me halfway across the screen and follow up with a heavy. But since his stamina is low, I go for a shield bash directly into a neck chop and take the round for our first win of the game. One thing to note is side dash characters like Tiandi or any other character who likes to play aggressive, Ocelotl has the capacity to play with a super aggressive playstyle, and you have to capitalize on that. Jumping in, going straight for 2 lights, of course getting that damage and putting some pressure in, you guys can see that he starts to get a lot of these side dashes in. Cancel it out with a light, and seeing that nothing's really going to work without any other zone abilities, I go in straight for a light to a zone, to a shield bash, to 2 more lights. I actually get this parry off, and I didn't want to chance this round by going for a zone attack since he's just going to dash it. So I actually side dash with him, meet him with a light attack to interrupt initially, and followed up with a second light attack to finish the round. One of Ocelotl's most important moves in his kit by far is his double light chain attack. I know a lot of people underplay the significance of this role, but the fact that it has the capacity to punish so many different moves as well as interrupt, it is by far one of the best. As fighting games go, one of the most important things to note is how your opponent is playing. I see that Tiandi's throwing out lights every single chance he can, uninterrupted. So in this case, I go for a light of my own, follow up with a zone attack, and go for a top heavy. He unfortunately parries that off, and seeing that I can't get the guard break, he goes immediately for the kick. I anticipate this, go for a side light dash. We get the second, follow up with a third, and instead of going for a fourth, since he's anticipating it, we go for a zone attack to capture his dash. Now unfortunately, he gets a parry off because, Tiandi could do that. And honestly, one of my biggest flaws right here is not anticipating that kick, because that essentially cost me the round. But obviously, fighting games, we adapt, we evolve. The more we play an opponent, the more you can learn from it, and whoever learns the better of the two essentially will win the round. Now pay attention to this. You guys see this white after image that pops up on Tiandi? That means he's going for a side dash that gets interrupted. Now understanding this, I go for a light to actually bait for the zone. We go for a top heavy, it gets parried off, so I'm going to start poking with a couple of lights. I actually bait for a zone here. He doesn't take the bait, so I go for a heavy punish, which of course works, and since I kind of just want to take the round, I'm going to go for a light straight into a zone attack. This is of course going to take the round and wrap it up for our first of 3 games. Moving into our second game, we get matched up against another Tiandi, and applying everything we learned from our first game to the second game, we're going to start playing aggressive. We're going to go for these lights because I don't know how this dude plays yet. I'm anticipating the kick, he doesn't go for it, so I understand I have to play this a little differently. I throw out a light, he parries that. I throw out a side dash light, and he parries that as well. So instead, I dash forward to do a shield bash. This interrupts his guard break, which I follow up with a second one for some good damage. And now I'm just going to try to poke with a bunch of lights. Seeing that his stamina is low, going for shield bashes almost always works when you're playing Ocelotl. I follow up with the second once it connects, knowing that I have a little bit of health to play with, and of course I take the round. Going into the second round, I still have absolutely no idea how this Tiandi plays, so I'm going to play safe. I do see, however, he's doing something crazy with these side dashes, so I'm going to put some lights just to put in pressure, and pay attention to this. This is by far the most important string you will ever see on an Ocelotl. Seeing that he's dashing around, I go for a zoning attack. I follow up with a top heavy, which if it hits, it does damage, but I'm anticipating a dodge to go directly into a shield bash. Instead, I catch him off guard, I go for a light to interrupt another dash. Seeing that he's going to try it anyways, I go straight for a zone attack, follow up with another top heavy, finally to finish it off with a bunch of damage. You guys see how much damage that did? Pay attention to that string. If you're anticipating someone's going to dash, bait for it. I want to take this round, I don't want to risk it at all, I just go for a top light. Fastest move out of his kit, and that's our second round. Final round, I'm going to play a little bit more aggressive because I have an idea of how this Tiandi plays, going for zones whenever he tries to side dash, and of course poking with lights whenever we can. Go for a light here, side dash, light, we go for a zone, a top heavy, another shield bash, which takes a lot of damage. And at this point, I'm kind of just playing for a heavy punish. Now, seeing that he likes to cancel out a lot of his moves, he actually outplays himself and kind of brain farts. So I punish that with a guard break, get a heavy off, and finish the round for our second of 3 victories. And if blessed by the gods themselves, we go against a fellow Ocelotl for our final fight. A lot of you guys let me know down in the comments below that the Ocelotl is actually one of the hardest things to play against, especially if you're playing Ocelotl yourself. Now, don't fret, your boy King Kowatl's here. I'm going to teach you how to play against him. Before we get into that, however, I just want to give a quick shout out and thank you to every single person watching this video. Thank you guys so much. If it weren't for you guys, I would not be doing this. And I know it's cliche to say, but you guys are truly my family. Thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. If you guys are new, consider subscribing, as 97.5% of you guys are currently not subscribed. And without further ado, let's get into some more gameplay. The 2 things to keep in mind when it comes to playing against the Ocelotl is they don't really know how to be aggressive, and they go for a side dash every chance they get. Keeping that in mind, we're going to apply everything we learned and try to go for a lot of zoning attacks. Keeping in mind to do it in moderation, because you guys can see he just got parried of his own. He doesn't go for a side dash, we parry that with a heavy. We go for a second one, which actually connects. And at this point, we're just baiting out for either a heavy dash, or we might just finish off the round with a light attack. I decided to go for the latter, just because I don't want to lose, and let's get into our second round. Now, since he lost, I'm understanding he's going to want to play more aggressive to try to prevent that. That's just the mentality people have. So I go in straight for a Prowler stance heavy attack. Very risky, but it has so much benefit. I connected going straight for some 2 light attacks. Going for some zoning since he likes to dash. And since he's taking a lot of damage, he's going to want to play some more safety as opposed to aggression. Now, I'm baiting for this dash attack. I'm anticipating it so much. Going to try to set up for it. Since he hasn't gone in for it yet, I go for a spear bash instead. Go for some lights. Try to get a zone off, but unfortunately that does not connect. I go in for 2 light attacks, and I get this parry off for another light attack. I could have ended the round right here, but I'll be honest, I wanted to get a finish off. And he actually applies what I've been telling you guys. He goes in for that final zone attack and kills me to get that second round. Now, I'm not going to fall for the same thing a second time. So in this case, I'm going to play just a little bit more safe. I'm going to throw a first light out, intentionally miss it to bait for a second one. Now he gets a heavy off, he's starting to play a little bit more unpredictable. He starts going back to his old ways, reverting into the side dashes, and since his stamina's out, I go in for the shield bashes. I'm going to try to chip him down with some light attacks as much as I can, just to put some pressure on as well, and kind of bait for these side dashes. I miss that first parry, but I punish with 2 lights. I get this parry off, go for 1 more, he goes for a side dash, and I finish the round with a top heavy. Of course, that was what I was baiting for, and it worked. It just takes a little bit of patience and a lot of brain power. Going into our final round here, I'm definitely going to play how I like to play, which is very much so showcased in this first stream. So I'm going to go for a Prowler stance top heavy, which is high risk, high reward, exactly how I like to play. There was our risk, and of course we get punished. Quick light chain for the pressure, and then we go into my favorite stream. Top light, we do a zone, top heavy, spear bash, 2 lights. This sets up, of course, for the dash, anticipated, parry for the top final heavy. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is King Kowatl'l, and of course, this has been how to play Ocelotl in 1v1s. If you guys are new, consider subscribing, as I do post content like this daily, and subscribe today to join the Aztec Empire. Have a great day, stay safe, take care, peace, adios. Let me know some more Ocelotl gameplay you guys want to see, and of course, until next time, bye bye.